Hello, hello. See, am I here? Hello, hello. So, welcome to another episode of Pure. Oh no, not Pure Session. So I have to say that. Sorry. Another episode of a Jam Sax Session with your girl, 𝗊𝗶𝗄𝗿. And this is episode 3. So I gave the last 2 episodes kind of like a trial run because I wanted to see, you know, how it would go, and if people would like it, and if the vibe was right, and things like that. And so far, it's been going kind of well. People seem to be rocking with it. Like I said, I am still new to playing the sax and learning the sax and things like that. So last week's episode, 2 weeks ago episode was, what was it? The first song I did was Ain't No Sunshine. That was the first song. And then the second song that same day I did was Stand By Me. So it was like 2 weeks ago. So going forward, like I said, I'm going to do one song per week. I just got kind of excited for the first episode, so that's why I did 2 songs. But going forward, I'm going to do 1 song a week. So it was Ain't No Sunshine, then it was Stand By Me. And last week was, what was it this week? Oh boy, what was last week? So, Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder. But I kind of got a little busy last week. It was a little hectic for me. Kind of, what do you call it? Kind of like lost track of time, lost track of what I was supposed to be doing. So I wasn't able to really practice as much as I would have liked with this song. Because tonight's song would have been Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I didn't fully learn it all the way. Like with the other songs, I practiced for like weeks and weeks and weeks. So I was able to know which notes to hit without having to pause and stop and look at the music sheet and so on and so forth. So with this song, I kind of only had like the beginning, and I just didn't feel like I didn't feel comfortable enough to play this song without kind of having like some basis of knowing what I'm doing. And again, it's not that I'm an expert at playing sax, but I just like to feel comfortable with what I'm doing, because when you're not comfortable with what you're doing, whatever it is, it kind of shows, it kind of comes off. And again, it's okay to mess up and to pick up some things like that, but the whole thing, or the whole, I guess, not purpose, but the whole like basis of me starting doing these sax sessions was kind of like to show you what I've learned so far, kind of to show you what I like, the songs I like, and my genre and things like that. And I guess I'm just comfortable yet to play it without really knowing the full song and things like that. So I might, depending on how the night goes, like I said, it's not going to be forever. I try to make the podcast Pure Sessions under 40 minutes. And with the Jam Sax Sessions, they kind of range between like 20 and 30 minutes, depending on what song, what song I'm doing. But so since I'm kind of not going to be playing too much in this one will probably be like 20, 25 minutes of that. Because if you're like me, you've been watching the playoffs, and the game comes on at 9, I believe, or 8:30, so I do want to see that. So I don't want to take up too much of the time. But yeah, so I'm not, originally tonight's song was going to be Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I don't know why I'm kind of stuck in this Disney, Walt Disney type of genre, but I guess I just like it. And I was going to play that song and, do the breathing techniques and, show you the keys and things like that. But tonight, like I said, since I kind of didn't really prepare, I didn't really prepare or practice enough. That's really what it is. Because you know how you can play something or do something very well, and you don't really need like too many days of practice. You kind of just need like a quick tune-up. Like when I'm doing music, I kind of just need like a quick tune-up. but with this song was very tricky. So I'm like, I didn't practice enough. I think I practiced last week with this song because I tried, because with the first two songs I did, No Sunshine and what was it, Stand By Me, I practiced those for like 2 months straight. And with the 𝗵𝗄𝗏𝗿𝗍 song, I kind of got that song completed and practiced, or whatever you want to call it, in like a week. Because it's kind of the same notes repetitive over and over again, so it wasn't that complicated to do so. But with this song, I kind of bounce. My thing is, when I'm practicing, I kind of bounce around 4 or 5 different songs when I get frustrated with one song. So I'm like, maybe I can get some inspiration from this song if I do this song, if I do that song. But I didn't really know how much in depth this song was. Not that it's beyond complicated. It's just knowing how I am, because I get very impatient very quickly. I kind of didn't give it the amount of time that I needed. So I'm like, let me not play this song if I don't really know what I'm doing. And again, I normally don't, but when it comes to music, I try to give it, 110%, because it's something that I love to do. And you don't want to do something that you love to do half-assed, because then it kind of comes off half-assed, and you really want to sit and watch that, you know what I mean? So next week, I might do the song actually, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, or I might just go on to what I had played, what I had programmed for next week, depending on how it goes. We'll see. But I kind of been doing, not practicing, I've kind of been trying to learn, different techniques and different breathing techniques and things like that. Because like I mentioned last week, I get very winded very easily because normally I'm standing on a piano, not always sitting, because I feel like you can't really get the full experience if you're sitting on a piano. I know in band, they teach you, you're practicing sitting, but I just feel like you can get more out of, out of the thing if you're standing up. But I've been trying to learn the right breathing techniques and things like that, and I had to purchase new reeds because all my reeds for some reason aren't fitting. So I was like, but yeah, so I've been doing that. But so yeah, I really probably won't play anything today because I'm not really prepared. I can do certain things on the whim, like DJing or writing music or creating music with the saxophone. Everybody can come and hear you on the sound. So what I was going to do instead was probably just talk for like a minute or two, because I talk a minute or two about what made me want to start learning how to read music and learning to play the sax. There's 1,000 instruments out there. And originally, when I was younger, I played the flute and the piano. And I did take a few lessons in playing the piano. And I did flute when I was in school and things like that, or the recorder. That's what it was, the recorder, not flute. It was a recorder, in or choir and band and things like that. And for some reason, I just kind of fell in love with playing the piano. I don't know, I just like how, the keys felt with my fingers. People always said I had piano keys. That would be interesting. Piano fingers. And I never understood what that meant. I mean, I guess I can kind of see it now. When I was younger, I was tall. I kind of like grew like 10 feet when I was like 11. But my mom and my instructor, who I had at the time, teacher at the time, she always used to say I had piano fingers. Same with my brother, because he doesn't know how to read music. He just plays by ear. And for some reason, I just always liked how the keys felt underneath my fingers. I never understood what that meant until I actually did it. And, they teach you like the basics, the scale and the simple songs. But that was kind of like the only thing that I was like consistent with, because it was always after school for like 2-3 hours until you had to practice and, do this. And they would give you the workbooks and the worksheets and stuff to do at home. And for some reason, that was the one thing that didn't bother me practicing, was doing the practicing with the piano all the time. But after a while, I get frustrated because the music would get a little bit more advanced, a little more advanced, and a little more advanced. And I'd be like, this is very annoying. I don't want to play this anymore. I want to go out and play with dolls or friends or video games or playing or whatever you do when you're younger. So I kind of fell off it. And like I said, since I really wasn't a quick learner when it came to reading music, without practicing it over and over again, it kind of just fell by the wayside. So I kind of like stopped doing it, because I noticed growing up, whenever I would like do something that became a little bit too hard or a little bit too complicated, I'm like, let me just put this to the side and then I'll go play something or I'll go do something else. But I feel like with music always flowing in my house, whether it be records playing, CDs playing, dad playing music, or just having music, just in the background and things like that. I just always kind of been around music growing up, and for me, and I paid attention to the saxophone growing up when I was younger, and listening to music and things like that. Because for me, since I couldn't read music, certain songs that I liked or certain songs that I wanted to learn, by heart, I would like pick out each instrument so I could hear it clearly and kind of like, like dissect the song versus just hearing the whole song. I would like dissect each part of the song, each section of the song, so I can just feel like I'm like there during the process of, the song being made. So I thought it was kind of really, really cool. But for me, after the piano, I went from the recorder to the piano. Then I played the drums. I just love playing the drums. Don't ask me why. I just love playing the drums. I just like making noise and sounding loud. Still couldn't read any music, but I would just play and bang and things like that. And I always say, eventually, whatever I'm playing will match up to what you guys are playing. Like when I was in band, or when I was in summer camps or summer programs and things like that, I still never wanted to read the music. I just wanted to play whatever was in my mind at the time, and then you guys just figure it out. That's kind of how I went with it. So I never really, I guess, tuned into that like I should have, because that was always an instrument that I felt that was just easy to play. I could just pick up the sticks and, just play as long as I wanted. And with the drums, my mom did buy me a drum set, so I'll be playing, the drum set throughout the house and things like that. And it was really fun. But then I got bored with the drums because I'm like, I still don't understand this. This is very complicated. Let me go to something else. So I put the drums aside, and then I went to the guitar, which is, you can't really see it, but it's like right here. It's been in this bag. Well, I used to play it, but it's been in this case since I was like 12, 13, I think. And I started to play that when I was in school. And I would go to like poetry slams and after school things and things like that. And I would play it. I would just be playing on it. I never really wanted to learn, but I would just be like, let me just let the music, flow through me. I'm just like, this is fun. This is cool. I'll make a song eventually. And then sure enough, when I was in the 5th or 6th grade or something like that, we had a school talent show. And I decided to play the guitar. I had an acoustic guitar. I have no idea what the song was called. I have no idea if I could play it again, because I probably can't. And I don't even know how I came up with this, but for like a month and some change, I just made up this song and I played it at the school talent show, and I came third. But the point of the matter is, it was still fun because I'm a very shy person. I was even worse growing up. And the fact that I got up on stage, by yourself with the lights on you, and I got and played in this talent show. Don't even know what I was playing, but I do remember the whole time my head was down. So I was like, well, that was fun. So I was like slowly, not really till now, but like slowly trying to, branch out of my shyness and my kind of to myself and very awkwardness phase. It didn't work. It still doesn't work, but I was trying to. So after the guitar, then I went to DJing, which kind of was really all the thing that was kind of throughout the house. Like I said, my dad DJed when he was growing up in school and college and all over the place. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Let me try this. And I would always love playing with him because he would always be playing on his records on his 2 turntables that he still has. He never really liked the whole, playing off the computer controller thing till like now. But growing up, it would always be the 2 turntables that he's had since like the 70s. And I thought that was just so cool. I didn't know all the songs, but I kind of like knew maybe like 40% of them. But it would be just cool just to see him, doing something that he like really, really enjoyed. It was like a passion. And then it looked so, it looked so effortless the way he was doing it, because you could just see from his face and his presence and his aura and his eyes, and just the joy in his face that he just enjoyed doing it. And I feel like I want that feeling, whatever it is, I want to have that feeling, like something that, you're so excited to do every day, all day. Something that brings you pure happiness without having, not doing work, but to just let yourself go and just be doing something that you enjoy, that brings you pure happiness. Like pure happiness, not just happiness for like a minute, but like pure happiness. And me, I really did think for a while that it was DJing, which it is. It's like off and on, what's going on. But after a while, I'm like, oh, he's doing this. Let me try doing this. Let me play. So I played. He let me play on his 2 turntables, I think one time, and I made like a CD. I don't even know where it is, but if I can find it, I'm definitely going to bring it on one of the episodes. And I had fun. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I had to be very careful as to not break his turntable, the needle, and the records, and had to put the records back in the sleeve and things like that. So I was very cautious as to doing that and touching that. And for me, I was always like, if I can just play for like another 5 minutes, let me just play for another 5 minutes. But I can only do it for like half an hour. Because I understand, like I said, he's had these things since, what is it, 60s, 70s, he said. So I do understand that you can't find these type of controllers anymore. So I was like, I'm just happy to play this for a bit. And for me, it was so exciting because I'm like, oh, actually, creating music. I'm actually making this song. Like these pieces of the puzzle I'm putting together is my masterpiece, and you'll be able to hear it forever. And that's kind of, another thing that kind of drew me to wanting to play music, wanting to DJ, wanting to, create music, because I felt like what you're creating for the people, what you're creating for your audience, I guess you want to say, is something that they will take and cherish forever. Like that's their piece. Like what you're creating will be out there forever, and it could be great. It could be, okay. It could be just for now. But I always felt that was an interesting, what is it? Like an interesting superpower, that you could have to create something that could be so beautiful that can help a person, that can change somebody's mind, that can change the aura, that can, make or break something. And I thought that was really cool to have. Not that ability, but like you can create something that's for like that's what is it? That's like bigger than yourself. If that makes sense. Like I felt like music is so many levels to music, to creating music, to writing music, to singing music, to engineering it, mastering it, DJing it, all this other stuff. It's hard work. I didn't realize that it was so much hard work working on 2 turntables, because I'm like, there's no button to do loops, there's no back thing to do this, there's no pause thing. You're literally always working with your hands. Nowadays, when I see the DJs back and forth, but nowadays when I see the DJs who just be, doing all the things with their hands and pressing buttons and all this stuff, I'm like, but you're like really actually working, because you're actually the one doing all these things on the turntable, creating this music. And I thought that was just so interesting. I don't know. It was one of those like things that can create something. It was just a beautiful thing. So with the DJing, I kind of haven't been doing it so much. That's just on me, because I've kind of been trying to figure out what really is my purpose, what really is not the legacy that I want to leave, but what I want to contribute to society that's bigger than myself. That's not just something right here, but that's something that can be, for this generation. And I do love music. I definitely love music. I love listening to it. I love watching it being made. I love hearing it. I just love it all together. But just, I guess, for me, I need something that's a constant happiness, a constant feeling of just bliss. And not that DJing wasn't that, because it still is, but I love it because I still have my controllers, my records, and things like that. But I just need something that was like, you wake up and you think about it, you go to bed, you think about it, throughout the day you're thinking about it. And for me, it was that for a minute, but I still felt like something was missing. That something was like gnawing at me, that I wasn't really like, what is it? And like I said, I love making music, and I still create music. I may not be DJing now per se, but I do still create music. I do still engineer it, master it, things like that. And it's fun because I'm experimenting with different things. Because before I didn't think I could engineer a song or master a song or create a song. And I like doing different little nuggets that kind of like, create a whole masterpiece. And I feel like it's a beautiful thing. You can just say, here's my finished product. This is my thing that I started from A to Z. That took this amount of weeks, and then this is it. So I just think it's just I don't know. It's an interesting thing to just have music in your life. And I feel like there's so many different emotions that go with music. There's so many different emotions that put in, but poured in to making a song. And I feel like music is healing. Music is devastating. Music is pulling and nurturing and peaceful and things like that. There's just so many different words that I feel like you can describe with music, with your song, with things and things like that. And I feel like, I don't know, it's just a beautiful thing. But with after DJing, not put on hold, but just maneuvering different avenues and how to DJ and how to create music and things like that. Still doing it, but not as frequently as I would like, and as much as I would want to. I kind of moved to like the right just like a little bit. Now doing the podcast, which is very fun. I love doing it. I love speaking on things that I've gone through, speaking on things that help other people, speaking on life, real life things, and things that help you grow and help you build and things like that. But with the jam sax sessions, I feel like it's another little nugget, a little branch that I'm adding to, the brand, adding to what I'm trying to have here, build here, things like that. And this whole year and some change that we've been on, the pandemic and things like that, it gave me the time to dive into DJing, dive into creating music, dive into writing a book, and now doing music. And after DJing, I went to the trumpet before the saxophone. But when I went to the trumpet, I said, I love, Miles Davis, because it was during, Black History Month. And for Black History Month, each day during Black History Month, I watched a different Black movie each day on anybody in the African American culture. And I just came across Miles Davis picture, a documentary, and he was playing the trumpet. And obviously, I knew that, but I didn't know it would be so interesting. I know we don't like documentaries, but I don't know. There's something after watching that documentary made me want to just play the trumpet. So the next day, I went out and played the trumpet, and I tried to play the trumpet. It's very hard. I'm like, how can just these three little keys be so complicated? And again, never read music, but I thought it would be kind of cool to play the trumpet. I think it was kind of like something different. Like I'm just trying different things to say, hey, I did this during this time. And, hey, this is something that I enjoy doing. Don't get me wrong, the trumpet is not as complicated as I make it sound. But for me, I just couldn't grasp it. I just couldn't get around it. So I'm just like, let me just have it here just to say I had it. But I did try my best. That's really what counts. As long as you try your best on whatever you're doing, whether it's long-term or short-term, definitely say you tried. Because if you're just doing things just to fill the time, if you're doing things just because other people are doing it, what are you really gaining out of it? Like for me, with all things I just mentioned, especially now with music and instruments, I'm trying to teach myself how to play and read music, and trying to not better myself, but just grow from where I was yesterday. So like, what is it, if you're doing anything in life, what is it that you're trying to do with it? If you're just doing it just because you see other people on social media doing things, you're just trying to do it for clout, that's cool. But like, what is the substance behind all that? You know what I'm saying? So with the trumpet, it kind of was something that, because I wanted to try it, but it really wasn't like the thing that I thought it would be. And then after the trumpet, I got a saxophone. And I'm like, you know what? This instrument is very sexy. Very sexy. It's a sexy instrument because it makes beautiful music, whether you're playing, a great pace song, or even like a smooth after hours, Let Me Dream, on the 𝗶𝗱𝗄 song. And for me, as soon as I started playing this in the first couple of weeks, I just instantly loved it. We just kind of like worked, we clicked. I don't know, and that's why it was so easy for me that I noticed for me to learn those two songs so quickly. I mean, now the other music is taking a little while, but for those first two songs, I just fell in love with the saxophone, and I still love it. I love playing it. I spent hours on playing it, not this week, but in general, I spend hours on end playing it, and because it's just, I feel like I'm creating something beautiful. Granted, I'm very rusty. I just started, but I feel like I am doing something that is bringing me constant joy, and that was the thing I felt that, I was missing, for right now. I mean, there's other areas that are still empty, but empty, that's the wrong word. The other areas that still haven't been filled yet, but for this part, for what I needed for right now, is this instrument. And it's a beautiful thing. So I taught myself, or learned about 5 or 6, 7 songs. I've learned recently about 5 or 6 new songs. But for me, it doesn't seem like it's work. Certain things, certain activities, certain things you're doing. Something you don't want to do. I don't want to really do it. We're doing it just because. But with this, it's much more than just learning something because I'm bored at home because I'm not working, or learning something just to save time. But it's actually something that, is exciting, things to enjoy, and things like that. And for the saxophone, for me to stick through with something this long and not get bored, not give up, or whatever. For me, if you know me, it says a lot because, like I said, I get bored very easily. I don't have a lot of patience, but I still am loving this instrument. And that's another reason why I wanted to do, or why I started doing the Sax Jam Session. It's only been 4 episodes. But the reason why I wanted to do it was because I wanted to share stuff that I know to the next person who could be struggling with learning how to read music, or play sax, how to play certain songs and things like that. And for me, it's still new because I'm learning, every day. But it's just exciting. And like I said, the passion for when you're doing something, should just protrude from your whole body. Your whole face should just light up when you do it. Your whole face, your whole body should just be 100% in it. Not just doing it just because, or half-assing it, or just doing it just because you want to not be doing something else. But for me, it's always instant gratification. It's always a joy. And that's another reason why, I didn't want to play tonight, because I hadn't practiced as much as I would have liked. And I felt that it would have, come off a little, not forced, but kind of just like what are you doing? So I just wanted to say that. So for me, for the reason why I'm not playing, I'm just talking like I'm going to do, is that was the reason why, because I wasn't 100% sure that I wanted to play this, because it's Wednesday, it's a jam session, but I felt like I wouldn't be giving, my all to it, because I'm just doing it just to fill the void. No, I need to just be like, hey, this is my instrument, this is what I practice this week, this is what I'm doing for you, and you're just going to enjoy it. But I didn't do that this week because I didn't really practice thoroughly as much as I wanted to, so that is why I didn't play. And I wanted just to give a little background on, why I picked the instruments, why I've gone through different things, and how I'm doing this. And I mentioned this last week, why we're doing it, because it's something different. I want to give, a little bit of what I can to society, a little bit to music world, because it's hard. It's hard being a creative. It's hard trying to please the audience and things like that. And if you're doing something that gives you joy, if you're doing something that, feels effortless, and it doesn't seem like it's like you're not getting the 100K followers, and not getting the 1,000,000 likes, and not getting the 1,000 retweets and things like that, kind of balances and evens itself out, because you're doing something that you really love. You're doing something that brings you joy. Because you don't want to bring other people joy. You don't want to make other people happy. But it's more so that you're doing what makes you happy. And that's why, was it last week or 2 weeks ago in prayer sessions, I mentioned that sometimes you just have to step away from people, from situations, from the decisions, from the environment, to see things clearly. And sometimes when you're focused on yourself, and you're focused on, bettering yourself to get better, bettering yourself to grow, because nobody wants to stay stagnant. Thank you too, because that's not good look. You can't really get anywhere if you're just here. Like I said, and I said this before, everybody's situation is different, so I'm not judging because I don't know, because you don't know until you're in that person's shoes. But what I'm saying is, if you are just always pleasing somebody else, or if you are just giving and doing things for this person to keep them around, to keep them being satisfied, to keep them decommute. See, there we go. You not being alone, for you just to have company, then really you're not really getting anything from it. It's just more so just having them on body, because you're doing all this extra stuff for this person, and you're doing all this stuff that's not normally what you would be doing. It's only for yourself. And I've had to learn that the hard way. And sometimes, whether it be a job you gotta leave that's toxic, a relationship you gotta leave that's very toxic if you can. Sometimes very tricky. Whether it be friends, sometimes you have to cut off friends, and sometimes you have to distance yourself from people because things start to kind of not match like they used to, and it becomes more so like an emotional tug of war with the person versus just being, you know what I'm saying? Like if they're going through issues, if that makes sense. But the relationship with this person or these few people or whatever shouldn't always be as if you're giving all yourself to this one versus just always having to explain yourself over and over again, settle, and just kind of, I don't want to say lower yourself, but more so just kind of like, I guess, lower yourself to fit in a situation that doesn't really get you anywhere. You know what I'm saying? That sometimes you just want to be comfortable. And I've used that word for like the past 3 weeks on pure sessions. Because, like I said, everybody wants to be comfortable. Everybody doesn't want to be uncomfortable. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good look. But sometimes we're so used to just being okay with everything. Sometimes we're just so used to being, all right, well, that's fine. You can keep doing that because the other person A knows that you're just always going to say this and always going to be there. And B, you're just a caring person. Like I said, nothing wrong with being a caring person. Just being a caring person. But there has to be a balance. You know what I'm saying? There has to be boundaries. That's a better word. There has to be boundaries. There has to be boundaries that you don't cross. There has to be boundaries that they don't cross. And there has to be boundaries that you don't compromise. Anyway, this is why I keep comments off. But sometimes it's harder, and I said this, was it last week, 2 weeks ago? I said it's harder to. Sometimes people feel as if you're trying to be like a brand new person if you are betting yourself. Or sometimes people think you're acting all funny or standoffish or stuff off if you are not doing the same things you normally do, or doing the same things you used to be doing, or not in the same place that you were 5 years ago, or even a month ago. Like, there's nothing wrong with wanting to change your surroundings, to change your environment, to better yourself. At the same time, not disrespecting other people and what they're going through, because everybody's not going to be the same as you are. You're not going to be at the same level there. This is kind of turning into an episode of Pure Sessions. But that was just on my mind or my heart and like for the past couple of days. And I've noticed for me, I kind of like got this like nostalgic euphoria about certain things, whereas I'm just more so like things will happen for a reason. Things will happen things don't happen for a reason. And you can't be so, so gung-ho on pleasing everybody. You can't be so gung-ho on the minutiae. Word. Don't quote me. Don't quote me. And for me, I just noticed that things happen. And things won't happen when they're not supposed to happen. And pieces fit when they're supposed to. Pieces will fit when they're yeah, so the other thing I just want to say real quick, because people have been saying that I kind of don't respond to comments. It's not that I'm not responding to comments. I'm not trying to be rude or standoffish. I think I am. It's just when I get going on talking about something, I get so focused on what I'm talking about. And it may seem like I'm not responding to the comments because it's not really, there's nothing wrong with having a conversation, but that's not really what this is. So I kind of like tune out comments, not to be rude. I don't. That's not really what it is. Unless it's something that needs to be handled. Like I said, don't stress about things that you can't control. Like I can control turning off the comments, but that's too hard. I'm not going to do that. Everybody's adults. You just act like them. You can't act like them. Don't say anything. You can't act like them. Then bounce. Plain and simple. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to give that too much energy. But yeah. So for me, I've noticed that this is really turning into pure session. And the funny thing is, I have pure sessions tomorrow, so this is going to be like a lot of talking, but it's okay, I promise. But for me, I've noticed even in this past week that I was getting frustrated, not seeing as many likes that I wanted, as many comments that I wanted, as many viewers, as I wanted on whether it be I'm on TikTok, don't go me, but I am on TikTok, whatever. Or even on pure sessions, like I've noticed it like 4 or 5 views here, or 3, 4 views there, or 2 or 3 views here, or even likes and what is it, retweets, like YouTube, SoundCloud. And I get frustrated. I'm like, man, why? It's been I've been doing this since before January, and it was so long, right? Why am I not seeing the progress that I want? And the thing that I hadn't noticed was, or realized was that people have been doing these kind of things, like entrepreneurs and entertainers and content creators and creatives and artists and doing podcasts and things for like years. And it takes time. The internet is I'm just saying that. Sorry. The internet can be very disrespectful. The internet can be very savagey. And the internet can be very harsh. So it's hard to please the internet. It's very hard to please. Unless you have like some top-notch stuff, or something that's new, or something that's like hasn't been done before, hasn't been done, but you kind of like twisted it to make it your own, or unless you're doing like new to them, nobody really gonna pay attention to it because everybody's trying to do something. You know what I'm saying? There's so much stuff for people's eyes to be seeing that they can't just focus on your one thing. And not that what you're doing isn't special, not that what you're doing can't be the next thing, but it just takes time. It takes time. That's one thing that I need to learn to have patience. And doing the podcast, playing the instrument, trying to get better at with my confidence and things like that, and trying to get back to being on social media and not worry about other things is helping me do that, because before I would get so frustrated not seeing what I want because I'm like, other people doing the same thing I'm doing. What's really happening here? And then what am I doing that they're doing? What am I not doing? They're not doing. So I kind of had to like be like, well, this is my area, let me grow this. This is my section, let me grow this, and not, worry so much about other things, because then it gets complicated and then it gets unnecessary and then it makes no sense. So, no. But, yeah, so I didn't want this to turn into pure sessions because it really will. And I'm not going to do that because, like I said, this is not what this is. But for tonight, yeah, so I just wanted to really like bring like a little background on why I started doing Sax Sessions, why I wanted to teach myself how to play, what this means to me, and things like that. So that's really what this was about. So, I always say, I hope I don't talk too much, but that's never not the case. It always is the case. But yeah, yeah. So next week, I might do the same song to see how this weekend goes and next week goes for practicing. Because I had another song next week that I was doing that I think everybody will love because it just makes you smile when you hear it. It makes me smile when I play it and when I hear it, and especially when I watch the movie. It's always good. So I might just move this song to like another week and things like that when I actually fully practice. And things like that. But we'll see. But yeah, so that was. Oh yeah, so real quick, because I always do it at the end. I forgot to do it in the beginning, but this is episode 3 of the Saxophone Session with the girl LanaEnPure. And tonight we're supposed to be playing somewhereovertherainbow, but I kind of decided to take a different turn, talk about other things, and kind of give more of perspective on certain things for people and for myself. You know what I mean? But Saxophone Session airs every Wednesday at 8 p.m. live on YouTube and LanaEnPure, and on my Instagram page at LanaEnPure every Wednesday. And tomorrow, which is Thursday, yay! Pure Sessions airs 8 o'clock on LanaEnPure's Corner and on Instagram, and LanaEnPure on YouTube. So I decided to do the jam Sax Sessions on LanaEnPure, so LanaEnPure's Corner, because there's really too much things on that page. I've been trying to build up that page and just kind of focus on my podcast. But with this thing, I want this to be on LanaEnPure to build that up and things like that. So, Sax Sessions on LanaEnPure's page, 8 o'clock on Wednesdays. and her session, which is online this corner, 8 o'clock on Thursdays. So that's that. But yes, tomorrow's episode is going to be fun. I have something to talk about that, some updates and things like that. To say as well. But I appreciate, well, that's not even a word. Appreciate it. Okay. Appreciate it. There we go. Everybody tuning in. As y'all do, I greatly appreciate it. Like I said, things take time. I'm trying to learn patience, and dream for work unless you do. So I'm trying to just be like, okay, this is that, and then take it as it comes. And guys, I enjoy doing what I do. I do prayer sessions. I enjoy speaking on things that I have gone through, experiences that I've dealt with, and doing jam sax sessions. I mean, who doesn't love playing an instrument? Who doesn't love making music? That's just that. But yeah, so until then, well, I'll see y'all tomorrow. But until next week, thank y'all for tuning in and listen to me rant as always. And look at that, over 40 minutes, but it's okay. I'm ending. So yeah. But yeah, guys, that's about it. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, now TikTok, whatever, YouTube, SoundCloud, and things like that. Under LanaEnPure. So definitely check me out. And I guess I'll learn to talk if you like. I don't really do much. I try to do things, but I don't do much. But yeah, guys, that is about it. I appreciate you guys tuning in with me. It means a lot. Like I said, I'm still learning. I'm still growing. Still learning to build a brand and networking and things like that. I'm trying to create something different, for everybody and all those creators and entrepreneurs and things like that. So I do appreciate it. But until next time, peace. Oops, sorry, that was a fly.